Welcome to the Success Journey Show. Let's travel together through the lives of individuals on the road to success.
Hey, what's going on, traveler? This is Ricky Venters, and we're back again for another week of the Success Journey Show. Like I said, I'm Ricky Venters, and I'm here with none other than Marlon Madden. Marlon, what's good, bro? How you doing today?
Feeling great, feeling fine, Ricky. And I got some form of a compliment today. It was a silent one. Yeah. So I was in the gym. I'm doing my abs. I'm finishing up, and some ladies came over to me and asked me for some lifting tips. So I was like,
"Oh, really?"
So I was like, I must look like I'm in shape, right? Because they came over there. There's a whole bunch of different guys, and I was looking at some of those guys, just looking at them, working out. so they chose me. They came and was like, "Hey, what do you consider close grips?" And I was like, "Oh man," they came over to me, so I felt pretty good, man. My chest was out. I was walking all high, stepping out the gym and stuff.
I bet you were, man. I bet you were. I feel the opposite way. I went jumping on a trampoline with my kids, and I thought everything was great until a couple days after, and my whole neck is sore. So, yeah, I thought I was in shape, man. But apparently, and trampolines got to me. But anyway, let's jump right into it, Marlon. Who do we got today?
Hey, I'm telling you, this gentleman that we have coming on. Now, we could talk days and days with him, literally, about what the journey that he's been on. So I want him to do it. This is none other than Alex. Alex, are you there?
How's it going, guys?
Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I appreciate you guys having me. I might have to get some advice on ab workouts and trampoline workouts too.
Hey, I don't know. You've been on the Ninja Warrior. I don't know if you want us to.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm pumped to be here. My kind of express background is I do motivational comedy. So in that, I do speaking at different organizations and teams and companies, and then I do sports hosting and game show hosting, which has been a blast with American Ninja Warrior and Under Armour and Discovery Channel. And I do stand-up comedy, which is a lot of fun as well. So yeah.
Wow. Man, you said a lot in that, man. But one thing that definitely highlighted and kind of crossed all of those things was I'm really curious about what was it? Comedian, motivational speaker. Yeah, motivational comedy. Man, how in the world? I know a lot of motivational speakers, and everyone's trying to find their niche and what they do. How they do it. A lot of people trying to be passionate. A lot of people trying to be, just being very, high level, very technical. But how do you motivational comedy? How did you fall into that?
It's basically it's my two kind of backgrounds or worlds have always been comedy and then sports. And I love sports. I love playing sports, but even more so than playing, I love what it does for people. I love the personal journeys within sports. I think are just awesome. And that's, if I look back to my playing, it's always what I loved the most was getting fired up and, trying to do things with my teammates. And then coaching was really, so my side job when I first moved to Los Angeles was coaching high school lacrosse. And it was, on paper, it was just supposed to be something I did, for side cash. But I beyond fell in love with coaching and, again, what it did for the players and also me as a person. It's basically being that version of myself is what I've wanted to be professionally. And it's definitely approaching serious things, but using humor as a way to make them.
Hey, and guys, he's a humble guy. The reason I could tell you that is because he's also an award-winning lacrosse coach. All right, so youngest coach ever to get an award for lacrosse. So for a year's honor. So this guy is very humble, I could tell. But we're gonna get his story out, man, because this guy he's multifaceted.
I appreciate that. It's that was I mean, honestly, I call it my grad school because, you know, I don't know how this sounds to say aloud, but it was, it's where I became a man too. Having to just like look after 30 immediate young men on my team, but 90 kids. And then also dealing with like a school that was intense, parents that were intense, and then coaches on my staff. And then also going toe to toe, you know, with guys significantly senior than me yelling in each other's faces. You know, there's definitely like, there's definitely some growth moments.
Now tell us, how did you get into the, you know, into the celebrity, if you will, world? You host a lot of different programs that people are very knowledgeable about. You know, Ninja Warrior. Me and my family, I'll tell you, we sit down and we watch some of those guys, man, and we're at awe. So how did you get into that?
Yeah, I mean, that world is like, I'm so thankful to have been a part of it. There's like a, gosh, you know, it's funny because there's like two answers. There's the like, how did I get into it in terms of like the person that I am and all of that. And then there's also like some logistical things. But it was one of those things where like, kind of always thought I could be good at hosting. I really liked it. And there was a moment where I felt like it was time to move on from coaching. I'd coached the program for 5 years. I had saw this one class go from being 7th graders to graduating. And it was just like, I'm big on when chapters feel like they're over. You know, you can't duplicate things. You can't cling to things. Life is always moving. And it just felt like it was time to move on. And I did. And it was about the same time next year when I got offered the American Ninja Warrior hosting. Yeah, that was crazy and life altering. And like right now I'm on my way to go rock climb. With, Ninja Natalie Duran, who's like a dear friend and like an incredible athlete. So the ripples of being a part of that community have like, been life altering. I'm telling you, more and more I hear you talk, I just want to, it's like you should have a book out. It's on the whiteboard.
Okay. Yeah, man, because along with that, now where are you originally from?
So I'm from New York. You know, my like personal background, I was an accident kid, which is 100% true. 9 years younger than my brother, 6 years than my sister. My parents named me and my sister like the same thing. Like they were wildly unprepared to have me. But like, yeah, it was like having older siblings was great because kind of was always doing what they were doing, even at a young age. So like if they were doing sports, I was trying to keep up with them. But grew up like, New York is a good place. People always, you know, assume New York City, but so much of it is like
a
lot of wood. Truly, like I lived off of a dirt road, but then you're like, you know, 45 minutes from New York City.
I want you to explain to people the process and what was going through your mind when you decided that you wanted to be a world record holder. Just in 2015, you guys did this, right? You and your friend Rob. So I want you to just paint the picture for us of what happened. Yeah,
it's so my buddy Rob Moore, great dude. We'd been like done comedy groups together. We'd also like made documentaries and had a lot of experiences together. Still like a best friend. I actually saw him last night. But what happened was we were hanging with another friend, Ilya Polyakov, and Ilya mentioned that him and his best friend who lives in London video chat every day. And like, that's a lot. Like video chatting every day is a lot. And like, you know, even 3 years ago, I think that's a lot nowadays when video chatting is pretty common, but it basically just snowballed into like a series of dares between all of us of like, I bet you couldn't last this long. And next thing you know, we looked up if there was a world record. Guinness like didn't have it because it hadn't caught up with technology. We found these two 14-year-old girls in Australia who had done it for 10 days, but like kind of a watered down version. They just like left the chat going, but they could leave. And we got to beat these teenagers. And so like going down, like we're taking it down. So like, I don't know, man. We started daring each other. Next thing you know, we were like, 2 weeks, let's do it. And we did it. We video chatted 2 weeks, 24 hours a day, 14 days
What?
straight.
Okay. What did you use? Now, listeners,
Yeah.
I know you're like, nah, this ain't real. Listen, he's in the books, so he can't be a lie. All right? So I want you to explain what was your body going through, because that's some willpower, some dedication, and craziness. So I want you just to tell you what your body was going through at that time.
Yeah, well, so we were allowed to sleep. Like, it wasn't like we had to be up or all this, but what would have to, we could never not be on the video chat. So if we were showering, we had waterproof cases. We had wireless. Like, I took him into the beach in Venice. He was living in Chicago. Like, we went to a Chicago Bears game. Like, we did a 2-man comedy show. I had him on like a tripod, and we did like an improv scene together. And we were live streaming it, so anyone in the world could watch, ask us questions, talk to us, and I mean, it was the Truman Show. That's what it was.
Wow,
Yeah, man.
That is insane, man. That is insane. But it's crazy to think of. You know, so what made you stop? Like, after when you got to the 2 weeks, you said, "All right, we made the 2 weeks. We're going to stop now," or did you guys? Do you feel relieved, or do you want to keep going? Do you like feel disconnected? Like when you guys finally broke it?
It was, it's such a good question. Like, I remember, well, first off, I remember being on day 9. Like, we committed to the 14 days. We were going to do it. But I remember being on day 9 and thinking, like, I should think that I'm almost there. And that seems so far. Like, I just felt every second of every minute of every hour. Like, it's like a baby, like a hot mess technology baby. But then, like, I like remember we each had, like, you know, my bedroom and like his room at his place were kind of like our home bases. And the only way to word it is, after like 2 weeks of looking into this world, at like 14 days straight, and then it ended and we hit end, it felt like a garage door came like smashing down, and this whole other world.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
now, how did you
bizarre.
get that submitted into the Guinness Book of World Record, the validation and all that kind of stuff?
So we never did it. Like, the truth is like,
oh, wow,
they never caught up with technology. They were like, oh, you want to do like a 2-week phone call? And we're like, no, like, this is different. There's video chats. We're going to do it. And they were like, all right, well, you can petition. It'll be 6 months of a petition. And we're like, listen, we have our nerve up. We're doing this Monday. Like, we're not waiting 6 months. So listen, we have it on GoPros. We had a documentarian with each of us. We have a Ustream, which is what NASA used, that recorded every second. If anybody ever wants to go for it, I wish you nothing but the best. You're going to lose your mind, but I wish you nothing but the best.
Enough FaceTime. Yeah, man. So tell me this, man. I mean, I'm loving your story so far, you know, and you made an earlier comment early in the beginning, right before you started coaching the lacrosse team, that you say you had finished school and then you had moved to, I believe it was the West Coast, and, you know, you started coaching. Mm-hmm. What did you go to school for? Like, because I see all the different things. Like,
yeah. So I mean, great question. So I went to UPenn, which is like Ivy League. It's a big finance school, and I was majoring in that. But like, it just wasn't a fit for me. And I remember thinking, like, well, maybe that's just what work is. Like, it's just not a fit for anybody. And then my senior fall, I had a moment where actually I stayed up all night with a few good friends, just like talking about life. And I wrote down a few of the things that I had written. And the next day I woke up, read it, and I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Wow.
That's it for me. Yeah.
Just like that.
It was just like, it had been on my mind that there was other things that I wanted to do. And just reading how clearly I had said it, it was, it was kind of inarguable to me. And, I just knew that I wasn't going to be happy doing this other route, and that it was just going to be such a fool.
Now, how did your parents feel about that?
They were, they were like, I remember like going to a dinner with them, and I told them, and they were like, okay. And like, credit to them. They never said it was stupid. They were just like, think it through. And my parents have always been just like, work hard. And I don't think they care what I'm doing as long as I'm like working hard at it. I remember there was a moment where they were like, think it through and just make sure you really want to do it. And I came back and I was like, I'm going to do this. I think even if it was crazy to them, I had like, my mom later told me that, I had gone to her when I was in like 7th grade, and I was like, I'm playing college lacrosse. Like, that's my dream. Like, I'm doing it. And, I remember she said that she thought it was very difficult at the time, but, I did do that. So I think in their eyes, they were like, if you set on it, they still were, I think, thought it was out there, but they were on board.
So what was it that you're going to go after? This list, you're looking at and you're telling them, hey, I'm going to go after something else. What was it?
It's a crazy thing because there's been like such chapters. And originally I was like, it's acting. And really just because like, I thought that's like a definable thing of what I liked. And what I like is like, I like emotions. I like people. I like experiencing things. I like that kind of a thing. And as time has gone on, I've just like been more specific about what I actually like and what actually like fires me up. And I think that's like important. I think it's dangerous if we like put these hard, it's great to have like certainty of what we want to do. And if it's like someone growing up and they're like, I want to be a jazz singer, and they know that, awesome, do it. But like, if we don't know this exact job title, I think it's important to be like flexible about what we actually like about it.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. And I think that's okay. A lot of times, I used to recruit for the Marine Corps down in Florida, and I used to go into the school and I used to ask the kids like, how many? You even point to the teacher like, is this the only job that you ever saw yourself doing? And the teacher would be like, no, I thought about doing this. We asked an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21-year-old to say, make a decision what you're going to do for the rest of your life, and that's what you're going to do, and that's it. And I think that stunts the growth and also the creativity of people because they feel like they're pigeonholed,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really, it is. It's a crazy thing, and it's, I was talking to a friend about it the other day about, like, rather than like job titles, I think as like, an exercise, it's almost helpful to like write down what we dig, like what we value. And if it's like, I love working with numbers, or I love working with people, or I can't have a boss, or because there's sometimes like, I think if we go after what is really high on what we value, there might be a lot more jobs or opportunities than we really realize.
Man, listeners, I hope you're hearing that, man. This is phenomenal. And I don't care what point you are in your life. Alex made a decision relatively early at an age where, he was like, Gary finished college and Gary got out into the real world, and he decided what direction he wanted to go. But it's the same for anyone, no matter where you are in your career, where you are in life, when you wake up every single day, what are you waking up to? You know, what are you, you know, excited about? You know, are you walking into work every single day and you're like, oh man, this is a drag. I don't want to be here. The thing is this, you know, your life is in your hands. You know, you can create, you know, what you want if you're really hungry enough for it, you know. And I really appreciate what Alex is sharing with us, because I'm mesmerized just by the variety of things that he has accomplished. And we haven't even touched on half of them yet, but you know, it's like,
I appreciate it.
All because he just said, you know what, I just really want to be myself, you know, and I'm not going to define myself by just one position or just one career or just one title. I'm just going to define myself by who I am, and then let that just bring value to the world that's around me. So, man, yeah, really appreciate that thought process and that mindset that you're bringing to the listeners right now.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's awesome what you guys are doing, and you guys are a testament as well, doing the work that you're doing. And
thank you.
You've been listening to the Success Journey Show. You can check us out on our social media on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Also on our website, thesuccessjourneyshow.com. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Can you just break down for the listeners what films you've been in?
Yeah, like you know, TV wise, I was on like Modern Family and Tosh Point oh and a bunch of commercials and things like that. I just you know, I kind of realized like I really loved hosting, and and I kind of realized like I like me, I work on me, like I like interacting with people. And there was a moment where like I was doing a bunch of this acting stuff, and I'm like, I keep trying to pretend to be someone else, and I don't like, it doesn't feel good to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And if that's what people want to do, that's awesome. But like, for me, like, I want to be Alex, and I want to interact with people as Alex. I don't need to be like, you know, a 17th century character. Like, it's just not what I need in my life. But like, you know, whatever gets you going.
Yeah, Ricky, before you ask that question, because I know you have a question, man. What the listeners, travelers, what we try to tell people that success is not some people just look at the destination, but they don't know that sometimes you get to that destination and then you redefine what success is, or where do you want to go, and you actually change and like, hey, I'm at the top right here. I want to go over to that mountain over there, and now you have to go back down in the valley, back up, and everything. So definitely, and also now that you said you want to host, and you are a professional comedian, you know, motivational comedian. Now, have you ever bombed anywhere before? That's the question that they ask every comedian, right?
Oh, yeah. Huge yes. The biggest yes.
How did that feel, man? Walk us through it. Walk us through one of your worst moments, man.
Well, you know what's crazy was like, well, first, I always wanted to stand up. I've loved it. I've loved it since I was a kid. I still love it so much. Like driving around, I just listen to stand up because I just enjoy it. And about 3 years ago, I had this moment where I wasn't doing it in a meaningful way. And I just had a moment where it was like, I can either do it and it might be brutal, I don't know how it'll go, or I need to be okay that I'm going to regret it. Like, I need to accept that years down the road, I'm going to regret not doing this. And yeah, what was crazy, and I'm so thankful for this experience, is I started doing American Ninja Warrior and I started doing stand-up comedy at the same time. So, and like, I've been good at, I've been All-American in lacrosse. I got Coach of the Year. I'd like done all these world record, like had, you know, success. And then this 1 year, literally by day, I was sucking at American Ninja Warrior. And then by night, I was bombing at stand-up. And like, it was brutal. But like, I'm so thankful for it though, because it took this mystique away from failure. And of like, it's just like, it was such a blessing because, failure is just a step. Like, that's literally all it is. Like, I was talking at this university the other day and like was sharing that it's That's literally all it is. Anything we want to do, from learning how to do a backflip to learning how to code or moving to a new city, it's just a period of failure. And then after it, we pick up our head and it's
I love it. So, I mean, and that's what the question I was going to ask for Marlon X. This one is more so, you're on a journey that has not been paved the way for you, so it's not like you can say, all right, well, today I'm going to do this and that's going to do this. And I'm going to, a couple of years, I'm going to be partner or, associate or this, it's not, you can't see it, So how do you keep going when you can't see what's next?
I mean, you nailed it. It's a little daunting at times, and it's just like anything. It's like, it's daunting, it's scary, it's unknown, it's overwhelming, it's all of these things. But those are just fears. And, I basically check in, is this really what I want to do? Because I think that's an important question that we always need to ask ourselves. Is this really what I want to do? And do I believe I can do it? And if the answer to both of those are yes, then it's pretty much onward, and I don't think pivoting is bad. I especially think in today's day and age where things do change so often, industries change, new opportunities open. I think to not be nimble, or at least be open to doing what we want to do in different ways. I feel like we need to be able to do that. But going to something else you said, it is crazy because I was talking to another friend about this of do awards and do these kind of things matter? And I feel like they do, because I feel like they're validating of the journey. And there's so many times where it's I coached, I got US Lacrosse Coach of the Year. But then I left that, and it's all right, back to building again. But I think sometimes it's helpful to just look at some of the wins. I think it's encouraging during some of the tougher moments.
But listeners, I'm telling you, we're probably going to have to, one day we're going to have to sit down and do a live thing, man. Because I tell you, your story is so dynamic because, Ricky and I are, we're kind of old school, meaning, let me explain to you that we went, especially Ricky, he went to college, finished college, got a job and everything. And me, I was in, I was kind of like the entrepreneur, then joined the military, and then entrepreneur while in the military. And now we have kids, and we're trying to foster these habits in our kids. And we're also trying to come with the mindset that we don't want our kids just to say, okay, hey, you're going to be an engineer and that's it, son. We want them to kind of, hey, what do you want to do? And we want to foster whatever they're looking for in life. We want to be very, right behind them, helping them out. So they might have to take us just like you to a restaurant so we don't strangle them, because now the best place you took your parents to a restaurant so they couldn't put hands on you. Right? So they might have to take us to a restaurant too to say, hey, Dad, listen, this is my last year, but guess what happened? Yeah. Appreciate it. I'm out.
Man. No, I love it, Alex. So tell us a little bit about what I'm really interested in is the 5-time TEDx speaker. I think one other thing I wanted to bring out that you have accomplished. Are you going in and you just speaking at, well, for one, explain TEDx to people that don't know what TEDx is, and then explain kind of your journey and how you went 5 times to go present.
Yeah, so TEDx are super cool events. They're it started as technology. I want to say education and design. It's basically if people are, have a knowledge about something or a unique idea, it's just a really cool setting to be able to present that idea. And I believe like their slogan is ideas worth spreading. So it's it can be like what if questions or, you know, things that have gone unpopularized, but can be really impactful to hear. But again, you know, I think it's important that I'm like honest about the trajectory of it. I really wanted to do motivational comedy. And so I, you know, was doing it just for free at anywhere that would let me do it. And I've been hosting with American Ninja Warrior. We won Best Digital Series for the thing I hosted with NBC, and super cool. And then we wrapped and the series ended. And I remember like, so it was like this huge high and then this huge low. And I remember driving back from a meeting at NBC where I found out it wasn't going to come back. And it was no like bad blood. It was like, high five, we did it. And now it's over. And I was like, oh. And I remember driving back heartbroken, you know, and just thinking, all right, well, what do I want to do with my moments of life? Which like, I don't think it's a scary question, but I think it's one that we can ask. And, you know, I got back and I was like, I want to be doing speaking and motivational comedy. And so I just like threw my hat in the ring for a TEDx and got accepted to it. And then like through referrals and I got accepted to a few more. And this last year I ended up being 5 of them, which was like a super crazy experience. And, you know, again, like thankful to, I guess to be validated. You know, it was something I wanted to do. It was daunting. It was scary. It was overwhelming. And then to like do them on that stage was really still daunting and scary and overwhelming, but you know, encouraging.
Yes. Hey, something I want to tell bosses, people that have people, you know, in the Marine Corps, we a lot of times we want to chastise more than we want to, you know, give accolades to people. And no matter what level you are on, you could be a 4-star general. When somebody tells you, hey, you did a good job and you get that accolade for doing that good job, it makes you feel like a better person. And it validates what you want to do. So, hey, if you are somebody that you have people working for you, or you have the chance to not only rip a man, but also to show, hey, this person here is doing a good job, and this is the accolade that person is getting for this job. I want you guys just to do that, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Alex, one last question we like to ask a lot of our guests this question, and one of those look back questions, you know, and the look back I want to take you back to is when you're sitting at that dinner table in the restaurant with your parents, you know, knowing what you know now, you know, how would you have framed that conversation differently or the same? Or would you have been, are you proud of that moment or not? What would you have done different?
That's a really good question. I don't think I would have framed anything different. I think all I would say, and I think I knew it going into it, was just like, this is going to be a unstable ride. But it's like, for me, I'm down with that. For me, on my value list, stability is not as high as doing what I really love and what I really feel like I need to do. And so there's going to be highs and lows and questionable moments and big wins and then big losses. But like, just want you to know, like, that's what I'm signing up for. That's what I want to do.
Man. Love it. Man, travelers, we hope that you are enjoying this podcast. We're going to take a moment right now and have Alex just share if there's any opportunities for people to get in contact with you, follow you, whatever it may be, to see what's next on your journey. Where can they go to find that information?
Yeah, on social media, I'm Alex Weber. My website is I'mAlexWeber.com. And I appreciate the support. You know, I work with different people and organizations on performance and leadership. And this is what fires me up. I love doing it. So I'm thankful to both of you for doing it.
It was our pleasure, man. It was our pleasure.
Definitely our pleasure. Definitely. Well, thank you, everyone. We have come to the end of another show. we hope you're really enjoying these shows, and we have so much more to come. So many other special guests that we have interviewed, and they're going to be coming to you over the next few weeks. But if you can just do us a favor, go to our website, subscribe to be a part of this Success Journey Squad. Go to your listening platform that you receive this podcast, whether it's iTunes, Google, Play, what's another one out there? Spotify, wherever it is, we're on all of those platforms. Just leave a review, leave a comment, share with us how these podcasts are inspiring and changing your lives, and we'll be truly appreciative of it. Hey, but we are, like I said, we'll come to the end of another episode, and we will see you guys next week at the same time, the same place at the Success Journey Show. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, one love.
You've been listening to the Success Journey Show, where your dreams, drive, determination, and diligence are the foundation to success. For more information, check out thesuccessjourneyshow.com. The Journey Squad is here helping you to your destination.